Well, hey, what is up? Welcome back. It's Freed's first time. I am Freed. I'm just your average fella. I'm like right in the middle between whiskey noob and nerd. And I like to laugh and talk about music and especially talk about whiskey. You at that level too? Do you like to do those things too? Please consider subscribing or at least give me a thumbs up. I would greatly, greatly appreciate that. It'd make me a lot of happy. Fuck. It would make me very happy. Yeah, if you stick around to the end, I will be giving the whiskey that I'm reviewing, just like all of them, a music pairing because here at Freed's First Time, we believe that whiskey and music are best of friends and they very much complement each other. Now today, I'm happy to report, I'm very, very excited. This was 2 months in the making. My friend Hill, who is 1/3 of the What We Drinkin' group, another whiskey review channel, their link to their channel is in this description. If you haven't subscribed to them, you're a crazy person because the reviews are great, the references and comedy on point, and it's just good old-fashioned entertainment. So please check them out. And Hill sent me 5 samples. So it's from Maryland to Jinzhou, China, and it was like over 2 months to get here. Him and I had lost hope. Like he had actually sent me a picture saying like, okay, well, I don't think it's coming. This is what it was. And the next day, there she was at my doorstep, delivered. And this is one of those 5 bottles. I'm gonna review 3 of them that he sent. And I think, well, the plan is, hopefully, to do another collaboration between my channel and his with the last 2 samples. But the first one of the lot. I mean, it was so hard to even decide which one I was gonna do first because they were all so fun and I'm looking forward to all of them. I've been wanting to try all of them because they're not that easy to procure over here in China, unfortunately. So I went with the Octomore first. Octomore, this is version 6.1. It is, what, 57% ABV, and it's peated to 167 PPM, which isn't even the highest Octomore. The 8.3, 309, dude. That is bananas. When you think about the average Isla is like 40 peat parts per million. 309. That's something that I don't even know I can handle. But this one, 167 peat parts per million. This is a little bit more up my alley. I think we can handle this one. It's a non-age statement whiskey, but on average, the majority of Octomores are 5 years old. Every once in a while, when you get to certain expressions, they might kick out a 10-year-old or like a 6 or 7 or 8-year-old. But on the whole, a lot of them are 5 years old. Now, if you look at all the Octomores, they're gonna be like 1 point something something or 7 point something something. And this one is the 0.1, which means it was only aged in refill American oak, most likely refill bourbon barrels. If you see 0.2, that means it's a little bit of a 50-50. It's aged in, excuse me, aged in refill American oak and then something else, usually a European oak of some sort, whether it's PX Sherry, Sauternes cask, there's a Bordeaux version. They do experimental things all the time. And then the 0.3 is when they 100%, this is 100% Scottish barley, but I don't know if this is the 100% Bruichladdich barley, which is obviously the distillery that distills Octomore. So, sorry, the 0.3s are gonna be full-on local primo products and grain and things like that. So, that's a slight and just crude breakdown of what the 0.1, the 0.2, and the 0.3 means. They do 0.4s, but those are kind of special and fewer and farther between. I just kind of realized I'm talking incredibly fast. It's because I'm so excited. I haven't had an opportunity to try an Octomore. Other Bruichladdich things, yeah, I have a couple in there, or a few, and they're just so good. So good. So I was super excited to try this. I've tried one other Octomore before, and that was a few years back at a whiskey festival. And if you've watched my channel before, I don't like trying whiskeys for the first time in a really social environment. I'm too easily influenced and I get distracted and I can't really, wrap my brain around what's going on. But there are, and there have been some exceptions, and the Octomore that I tried before, I believe was the 7.1. is one of those exceptions. I paid for a pour of it, walked away and just kind of looked around, took a sip, and I just stopped in my tracks and I put my hands on my knees. And it was one of those moments. Have you had one of those whiskey moments yet? I've had, I think that's like the only one, and it was quite a special one, and it remains in my heart and it stays that way. So of course I have very high expectations for this. So without I'm so excited. Sorry, I'm gonna put some of this in the glass and let it sit for a second. Bruichladdich. If you watch any of the What We Drinkin' episodes, Hill has had to correct his castmates several times because they keep putting the ick. It's funny to watch Hill get frustrated. He's like, "There's no ick! There's no ick!" at the end. Bruichladdich, not Bruichladdich. It's just funny. Sorry, I'm a bit of a fanboy with them. They're good people. So they've been around since 1881. Gotta love those palindromes. And they're still using the same cast iron fermentation tub. That's really cool. And they let their beer ferment for a little bit longer than most people do because they feel as if like the low and slow method is where it's at. And I can't say I'm gonna argue with them because I have yet to have a bad Bruichladdich. I have. They're all pretty damn great. So that being said, I have yet to add water to this. I don't think I'm going to because making my notes, it is 57% and that's fairly high, but it's fairly contained and it doesn't knock your socks off and it just fits really, really well. I equate it to like a circus bear. The bear could fuck you up if it wanted to, but it just doesn't. And it does what you want it to do and it maintains its integrity and it plays with you really, really nicely. But I think one day it might eat your head off. But today, it's not. So let's pop in on the whiff. All right, it's a typical peated nose to me. You would think at a PPM that high, like I mentioned before, 167 peat parts, man, alliteration's so fun and I suck at it. Peat parts per million. You think it would just kick your nose right off your face, but it doesn't. It's actually quite tame and contained. And it's just sharp and it's clean and crisp. I'm getting like a new smoke. And bear with me here, it's like if you're making a campfire using dry leaves and you have your face up in there and you're just gently blowing on trying to get that ember kicked up to be a fire, there's little whiffs of smoke that's coming off. That's what I'm getting on that, along with those dead leaves. Like your clothing next day, like if you're camping, the clothing next day after you've been sitting around a campfire all night. Japanese tofu kind of has that, like almost like a metallic, creamy element to it. Not metallic as in like tinny or anything unpleasant, but kind of like, and I'm going to mention this later when it comes to the palate, I'm going to use the term wok, which is what a seasoned wok imparts on the food that it's cooking. Does that make sense? Have you heard that word before? It's a really interesting note, and I hope you find it too when you nose this. Custard, a brush pile. That's a fun nose, and I've mentioned before, I'm very olfactory centric, and I could sit with my nose in that for hours, but obviously I don't have the time for that, so let's go into the palate, shall we? Right on, Ganbei. I'm very excited. It just explodes with flavor. I mean, every corner of your mouth gets it, man. It's outstanding. It's a little bit hot to be expected, but not overwhelming. I'm getting a little bit of burnt rubber. No, no, no. We did that joke already, man. Just, no. God. All right, some sweet asphalt. That wok is coming back, the flavor from the seasoned wok. Dying fire. Man. Burnt ends not so much like of a brisket. Everyone uses brisket as an example. No, or bacon. It's not so much that. It's, with this anyway, it's more of just those carbony bits that are burnt on the end, which I love. I know you're not supposed to eat them, but I do. It's those carbony burnt bits on the end of really high quality barbecue. Mm. Mm. Oh man, that's so fun. It's so fun. It just has this way with you, but then just kind of pats you on the back and like, it's all right, man. It's all right. We're just having a good time. Just having a good time. I feel like I need a safe word. It's tomahawk, in case anybody's wondering. Yeah, on the finish, crazy long. It's super duper long. Not so oily though. You'd think it would be an oily finish, but it's not. And that ash sticks around. It's a bit of a bitter ash. I'm getting more of that burnt barbecue. And those carbony bits as well. And just more brush fire / campfire elements. It's so crazy. Like, from the nose to the finish, this whiskey covers every stage of a campfire's life, in my opinion. And that's just really cool, because that's a very nostalgic and meaningful tasting note, smelling note, finish note for me. I really dig it. Dude, I need more. Once you get a little retro nasal going on, there are some floral and sweet elements coming up through all of that heavy, heavy earthy notes as well. So that's pretty fun. Dude, Hill, nailed it, man. Nailed it. It's so good. I really enjoyed that. I wish I had more. I'm gonna look for it. I try to find it, and it's crazy expensive, and I can't find this expression specifically online anyway. It's kind of a bummer. But while doing my notes initially, I was kind of tossed up between two songs. We've moved on to the music pairing, if you haven't noticed. I was caught up between two. Obviously the one that I ultimately chose, and the second one. The one that I ultimately chose was Tom Waits' Going Out West. It's a great song. It's rugged. It's got the Tom Waits graspy, rattly voice singing, and it's just hardcore. No, I don't say hardcore, but it's just a very good companion to this whiskey, because it's got hair on its chest and it looks good without a shirt on. And the other one was Hello by Lionel Richie. And it's true, dude. It's hello, is it me you're looking for? Because it was. Dude, the other peaty whiskeys that I've tried, they're all great, and I love them all in their own way, and the peat does change from distillery to distillery, which is really fun to experiment with, but I wanted something that was gonna just kick me hard, and this is exactly what this Octomore does, which is to be expected. It's the most peaty whiskey on planet Earth. Bruichladdich done it again, man. Well, Jesus, this is not news to anyone. Bruichladdich the shit. Everyone knows who Octomore is, but in case you didn't. That being said, I can see very much how this wouldn't be for everyone. If you don't like even the slightest, I mean, even if you like peaty stuff, this is different. It's just different, in a fantastic way, in my personal opinion. And just, you know, word to the wise, it's not for everyone. The bottle is cool looking, and it's kind of expensive, but doesn't mean you're gonna like it. So take that as you will. I am gonna put a little bit of water in this and see what happens. But it's on my own. This is for me. This is for me. I'm gonna put on some Lionel Richie and just see what happens. All right, again, Hill, thank you so kindly, man. This is one of a few that are gonna be dedicated to y'all. And we'll talk soon. Again, a link to their channel is down there in the description, and also a link to those songs that I mentioned before. Fuck it, I'll put them both down there. Lionel Richie and Tom Waits down there in the description. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider subscribing. If not, no problem, no problem. And right on. Thank you for coming by. We'll see you next time.